Hello, welcome to a live stream. I kind of planned for a live stream today because there was an event at OpenAI happening today, and I figured that there would probably be some news to talk about, and there certainly was. And as you can see on my screen right here, we have the introductory blog that OpenAI released about GPT-4o. Interesting name. I'm sure there's a reason for the O and not like GPT 4.5 or whatever it is that we wanted to call it. Um, but I thought we'd walk through this, and then I do actually have some access to GPT-4o inside of the playground, so we can play around with that a little bit and see how well it works. But mind you, a lot of the things that they announced have not been fully released yet, which is a bit of a shame because especially OpenAI in particular has a tendency to announce something and release it at the exact same time. And so this is actually a little unusual for them to announce something and then say like, and this is going to be rolled out over the next couple of weeks, and possibly more than that. So that was the only disappointment that I had. But I watched the whole live stream that OpenAI did, and it was pretty incredible. But as always, this is the Nerdy Novelist. This is a channel all about using AI in your writing processes. And so we're going to be testing out the model for the purposes of writing. If some of you will recall, oh, I'm echoing, someone says. I do not know how to fix that. Hang on. Let me see if I can hear it myself. Oh, I'm echoing, someone says. Yeah, I'm not sure there's anything I can do about that. Give me one sec. Maybe I can get this a little closer to my mouth. See if that does any better. Oh, I'm echoing, someone says. Oh, well. We'll just have to keep going. Yeah, I'm not sure there's anything I can do about that. Give me one sec. Maybe I can get this a little closer to my mouth. Okay, well, anyway. I might need to mute something. See, the thing is, I can see exactly where the audio is coming from. And there's only one audio source on my thing. Well, I'll turn this down and see if that makes any difference. But if it doesn't, not sure what I can do about it. Okay. Hopefully that did something to help, but if not, we'll just have to keep going with it. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into this announcement. Oh, so I did fix it. That's weird because that audio track wasn't supposedly coming in. Anyway, okay, whatever. It's fixed. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this announcement. GPT-4o, new flagship model. And if you watched the live stream, you will have seen that the biggest advancements that they were talking about were improvements across audio, vision, and text in real time. So a lot of that, basically, it was really cool, some of the demonstrations that they gave. I've been talking for a while now about how I really would love my own little Jarvis, right? Like you see in the Iron Man movies. Jarvis I can just talk to back and forth, and they've basically created that. Now, that sort of thing doesn't appear to be fully integrated yet. I haven't been able to get it on my phone. But that said, I do have access to the model inside of the OpenAI playground right here, which we will dig into and see if it's any better than GPT-4. But let's go ahead and go through this. So much more natural human-computer interaction, which I kind of mentioned. It has audio inputs at as little as 232 milliseconds with an average of 320 milliseconds, which is similar to human response time in conversation. And if you watched the demo, it did seem to be more or less real time. And Evolution DL1 is asking if this is an upgrade to GPT-4. Yes, it is. And in fact, some of you may recall I made a video a week or so now where we talked about some mysterious GPT-2 chatbot thing that had appeared in a chat simulator or a chat battle arena site where you can test different models against each other. And that model, I'll bet my britches that bet my brit okay. I'll bet this Luke Skywalker lightsaber that I have right here that was the GPT-4o that has been unveiled here. So a lot of cool things here. Lots of additional demos that you can see here. In the live demo, there were a few, I guess you could call them bugs, where they were kind of talking over each other, the AI and the human, and but it wasn't necessarily like a fault with the technology. It was just a little awkward. So basically, the main improvements seem to be in the voice to chat and the actual the feedback where it reads it back to you, to the point where it definitely sounded like a real human talking from in a live setting with the people there. Really cool stuff. So there's a basic overview of its settings. It can see images, and even in the demo it seemed like they were actually looking at video. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be the case, whether it'll be able to look at live video and understand, but it kind of looked like that's what they were doing. But anyway, here are all your model evaluations. So they put GPT-4o against GPT-4 Turbo. And it's basically winning out in pretty much everything here, but only marginally in some areas. So we'll test it with writing in just a second. I haven't played around with it too much yet because I just wanted to dive into this live. But we'll see. Another thing that they did mention is that this is much better and much improved than in different languages. So one of the things I get asked all the time on this channel is this going to work in Italian? Is this going to work in Hindi, or whatever it is that people speak? And the answer is that what we had before would work in most languages, but it was clear that ChatGPT was meant to be a kind of English first chat model, and that seems to have been improved. And they did a live demo showing almost near real-time translation, where one person would speak in Italian into the AI and it would get immediately translated, and then the other person would respond in English, and then the AI would translate that into Italian. It was really cool. So if English is not your first language, then I can just about guarantee that this model is going to be really good for you, because it's going to be much more efficient. And they've got demonstrations here. All right, here's the thing that bugged me a little bit, but I understand why it's here. Is they're worried about model safety and limitations, and certainly when you can have things that can generate realistic sounding human voices and can recognize things like people and faces, how can you safely and responsibly use that information in a way where people can't take advantage of it in a way that would be harmful? And so that is why they are not unveiling everything at the same. They demonstrated everything, but they're not going to be letting us get access to everything all at the same time. So that's a bit unfortunate. And I really want my Jarvis, I want my Jarvis, but they are basically saying in this section that there's some risks. There's some things that it's not good at yet. It says here, through our testing and iteration with the model, we have observed several limitations that exist across all models modalities, a few of which are illustrated below. And they had a little video showing some of the bugs, basically. They're still looking for feedback. So if when you're here in the platform, you can actually do a compare here. And I assume this is just to compare between two different models, and you can tell it which one is better, which one does it better. Whew. All right. Let's go ahead and click that off. So yeah, model availability. GPT 4.0, or not 4.0, 4o is our latest step in pushing the boundaries of deep learning, this time in the direction of practical usability. And that's the kind of sense that I got. I didn't get the sense that the model itself was that much better in terms of its like writing capability, for example, but its practical usability, the ability to talk to it and things like that, definitely improved. We spent a lot of effort over the last 2 years working on efficiency improvements at every layer of the stack. As the first fruits of this research, we're able to make the GPT-4 level model available much more broadly. This was the other big announcement. If you are a free user of ChatGPT, you will now have access to GPT-4, which is great. Okay, basically the only benefit now that you get from the GPT Plus is it's gonna be a lot more faster. You'll still get any new updates. I'm sure GPT-5 will probably be paid only. And apart from that, the you also get a higher, you're not going to be throttled as much on the paid plan, so you'll get more chats basically. But GPT-4 is now accessible in the free version, which is great. Text and image capabilities are starting to roll out today in ChatGPT, so you might see some of this already. I haven't seen it yet. We're making GPT-4o available in the free tier, and to Plus users with up to 5 times higher message limits. We'll roll out new versions of voice mode with GPT-4o in an alpha within ChatGPT Plus in the coming weeks. So in the next few weeks, we can expect that voice mode. Something they also mentioned, I don't see mentioned here, but they mentioned it in the live stream, is that there's going to be a desktop app, which I would love to see, because that will probably make things easier, like dictation, for example. If I want to just dictate into the app, that would probably be an easier thing to do with a desktop app. Really cool. But no mention here about when that's going to be coming. We also get a notice here that GPT-4o is 2 times faster, half the price, and has 5 times the higher rate limits compared to GPT-4 Turbo, which was already cheaper and faster than previous GPT-4 versions. So not only is this a better model, but it's more efficient. It can work faster and it's cheaper. All right, and that's pretty much it for their announcement here. Again, lots of stuff that hasn't been rolled out yet, but we can access GPT-4o in the API. So if you go to platform.openai.com, go to this playground, go to chat, and then you can select the GPT-4o right here. So this is kind of cool. Additionally, if you're using Novel Crafter, so let's go ahead and check out Novel Crafter here. Let's just go to my Ears of Dracula book, go to write. Let's find, okay, so this beat, if I want to generate prose, let's just go general purpose. It's not, as far as I know, yeah, it's not listed here among the main ones. I'm sure the developer of Novel Crafter will get that here soon. But if you go down here to try for a spin, and you get a list of everything that you can access, if you have access to it in the OpenAI API and you've connected your API, then you should be able to have access to it here. So let's just scroll down to, okay, here's all the OpenAI stuff: GPT 3.5, GPT 3.4, GPT-4 Turbo, and GPT-4o right here. And there's 2 of them. I'm not really certain which one is newer. I mean, this one says 5.13. So if we select that, now it's going to write, well, and the moderation gets stuck. So that's not fun. So yeah, let's see if one of my other prompts will do it. GPT-4o. Nope. Still having trouble. All right, we're gonna have to look at a different book that is a little tamer. Yeah, so good. This was my test earlier. Should have just gone straight to this. So if we go general purpose, try for spin, go all the way down, select GPT-4o. We'll do this one with today's date on it. And so, yeah, it is available inside of Novel Crafter. So that's good. So anyway, let's go back and start testing this in terms of just general writing things. So I'll go ahead and just run through some of the prompts that we've used before, and I'll give you my thoughts on whether it is an improvement. In fact, we can go ahead and compare. So let's make sure this one is GPT-4o. Let's make this one GPT-4 Turbo. And we'll keep them the same system instruction and say, help me brainstorm 10 ideas for a sci-fi beach romance. If you're tired of this, feel free to give me more ideas in the chat. Sci-fi beach romance in the style of a Blake Snyder logline. Okay, so we'll run that. This is a pretty standard brainstorming prompt that I use. Whoa, first of all, look at how fast it's going and by comparison. That's great. This actually seems a little slower than I expected from GPT-4 Turbo, because Turbo wasn't that slow, but yeah. All right, so we have time wave romance. When a marine biologist from the 22nd century and a lifeguard from the 1960s are accidentally thrown together through a time portal on a secluded beach, they must navigate cultural differences into taking clock to return to their own times. Medieval fantasy beach romance, please. Oh boy. So I'm not seeing a huge difference between these. Maybe a slightly richer story here, better conflict. An advanced AI lifeguard gains consciousness and falls in love with a vacationing astrophysicist. Together they must solve the mystery of a sudden deadly rip in the fabric of space-time appearing along the beach, all while exploring the boundaries of their unlikely romance. Okay, so nothing huge here. Let's go ahead and let's take one of these and just say, now with this in mind, generate a full book synopsis for this story idea. We'll run that. So now this is, wow, that is fast. Dr. Aria Monroe, a brilliant marine biologist. Enveloped into a swirling vortex. Now we got a swirling vortex over here as well. They definitely seem to be pretty similar to each other. Yeah. If this is the GPT-2 mystery model that we saw on that one website, that one did seem to be a little bit more rich and deep in the its ability to look at story. But so far, I'm not seeing anything particularly interesting here. Oh, and we still have a testament to their love in here. So it's still using those ChatGPT-isms. Let's give it something where I'm going to give it my 40 chapter novel outline and see how well it can handle that. So we're going through the whole fractal method here. So say now create a, I don't even know if it'll be able to handle this thing. Full outline using the following template. Paste the whole thing in there. We'll see if it can run the thing. Okay. Oh, yeah. This one's running it. And GPT-4 Turbo is slogging behind. Opens with the stark contrast of worlds, a serene, untouched 1960s beach juxtaposed with the futuristic 20th. Oh, this is interesting. A storm begins brewing in both times, visually connecting the two different eras and hinting at upcoming time travel chaos. Yeah, so we got something a little bit simpler here. Really bad day. Setting early 20th century. A dedicated but lonely marine biologist has been pushing her limits in her scientific pursuits. Arya is introduced during an intense and frustrating research day. She struggles to find funding and navigate bureaucratic obstacles. Her save the cat moment occurs when she rescues a distressed marine animal caught in debris. Okay, that's, you know, fairly straightforward. Arya is emotionally distant, overly focused on her career, and reluctant to form personal connections due to past disappointments. All right, so it's giving me more detail here than GPT-4 is. Like actual story events, which is good. So this might be a good or an improvement for outlining and things like that. Yeah, but they're very close. They are very, very close. All right, so a couple comments that I wanted to comment on here. So Space says OpenRouter just added GPT-4o as well. So yeah, 100% available in OpenRouter and Novel Crafter, which is great. How does it do with so StoryQuest says, how does it do with prose though, and sticking to instructions on writing style? That's the next question. So I generated this. I mean, it's okay. I would say it's not better than Claude 3. Let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and preview the prompt and copy it, and then we'll run it inside of GPT-4 Turbo. Let's go ahead. Oh, it's still generating. Come on. I'm just gonna refresh. All right, so we got those two. I'm just gonna run this. Oh, it is so fast though. That is nice. All right, so let's read the. So this is from one of my books. Oh, it did not. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Hang on. We got to make sure max tokens are set all the way up. And same thing on this side. Max tokens are up. Okay. Now let's try that again, because it was giving me a too short of a response. All right. The ceremony concluded with a simplicity that felt profound in its very essence. Gloriana's voice rang clear and true, resonating with the deep magic of the land as she bound their hands with a braided cord of silver and green. For a moment, everything seemed to hush, a stillness unlike any Una had ever known. Then George leaned in as their lips met. The gathering fae and knights burst into joyous applause. The kiss held the promise of the future unshadowed by the specter of Kyrdonos. The final chat echoed across the stones of Castle Selene, and then silence, a deep, profound silence that marked the end of the ceremony. Una turned to George, her eyes sparkling with unshed tears and a smile that bloomed into like the first flower of spring. Their lips met in a kiss that sealed their union, soft and lingering, a testament to their enduring love and battles that they had weathered together. I would not say this is better. Some of the dialogue looks a little bit more natural here. So maybe what you could do. Yeah, this dialogue isn't as bad. And it will be a season for learning. You've grown so much. There's much to know about your father, about your power. I will teach you. Una George, congratulations, Triamond declared. Thought we'd never see the day, Campbell asked with a wink. And then over here we have Una George, congratulations. Triamond's boisterous voice, accompanied by Campbell's more reserved tone, reached her ears. Both knights approached, broad smiles on their faces. So I'd say there's a little bit of an improvement, but not a huge one. And I honestly, given the fact that this is still a GPT-4 model, it's just an iteration on the 4 model, I wasn't expecting it to be like the difference between Claude 2 and Claude 3, for example. It's funny because we've been stuck on GPT-4 for over a year now, and all of these other companies have caught up, which makes it seem like OpenAI has been kind of left behind. But I have a feeling that they're just making things. They're perfectionists. They're making sure things are perfect. I have a feeling that that GPT-5, whenever it comes out, is going to blow our socks off. Because that tends to be the case with companies that get ahead initially, get that first mover advantage. When they do that, yeah, other companies start to catch up. But as soon as they catch up, the initial catalyst company, whatever you want to call it, in this case, OpenAI, comes and creates something super amazing. So in general, marginal improvements, maybe. Kind of hard to say. I'm going to keep playing with it, keep testing it. I'm more excited for how this could be used in other ways. So we got a promise of a desktop app, and it's got improved like voice recognition and transcription. And so what I want to know is, can I use this to dictate? Because I currently use Dragon Dictation for my dictation, and it's okay, but it makes quite a lot of errors, and Whisper is way better. But there's not really a good interface to interact with Whisper the way I would like to do. And so I'm really curious if with this new update, once we have like full access to it, if we're going to be able to dictate in a much better way. Because right now I don't really have a dictation software that I strongly recommend. Even though Whisper as an AI model is phenomenal, I want to see more there. So I'm really hopeful that this thing will be good for that specific use case, in which case I'll be using it all the time. All right. So let me go through some of the comments here. Quite a few people commenting. So Space says GPT-4o is a lot better at recalling information. It remembers a lot more details than Turbo. That's good to know. And I'm sure that Space has tested this already. That's always something good, important to test with any of these models is, how well they pass like the needle in a haystack test. Which I can't really do with this. I'm not sure what the context window is. They didn't actually mention that. I'm assuming it's about the same as GPT-4 Turbo, but Objective Observer says I couldn't spot the differences in output between GPT-4o and GPT-4 Turbo in my testing either, except the speed. Yeah. Also says definitely not GPT-2. Yeah, it's not. When I said GPT-2, I wasn't talking about the GPT-2, which existed ages ago. There was a brand new GPT. It was called GPT-2, but most people were thinking it was an improved version of GPT-4. And it showed up on this random, well, it's not random, this website. And the website's purpose is to basically pit AI models against each other to do all of these tests to see which ones are better. And from what we can tell, it looks like OpenAI I'm guessing it was this model, onto there. They labeled it GPT-2 chatbot, but it obviously nobody was fooled by that, and nobody actually thought it was the GPT-2. But everybody could tell that was an improved model, including myself, because I did a little bit of testing, and I think it was this model, because I do see some improvements here. Some things are definitely better. The overall style of the pros maybe not the best still, but a marginal improvement over GPT-4 would be my first impressions here. So Mazine asks, is GPT-4o out? It seems to be out here in the playground if you're playing around with it here. And they say they are rolling it out into ChatGPT, including into the free version. So you might not see it yet, but they are apparently rolling it out. I imagine some people might take a few days before you get access. Ghost Level 0 says, earlier you mentioned areas where GPT-4o struggles. Can you either elaborate or share a link to details? So we were probably talking about this in the blog post somewhere down here. They're working on safety and limitations, and there was a video here showing some of the issues that they were having. Nothing like super huge, but it's basically they were just saying it's not a perfect thing. Edward says, why should people continue paying for Plus if they're giving access to everybody? That's a good question. The thing that Plus will give you at this point is more speed and 5 times the output amount. So if you're using ChatGPT heavily, then you'll still want the Plus because it'll give you that greater access. But you could just totally get rid of it, maybe use it inside of the API instead, like I'm doing here, because that'll just be pay as you go and you won't have any limits. So that might be a good option. My guess is they've got some brand new stuff coming in the near future that will be exclusive to Plus subscribers, because they're going to lose subscribers over this, over the fact that GPT-4 is now going to be available inside of the free version. I think this is also probably a soft jab at Anthropic, because Anthropic, they had all of their Claude 3 models released recently, and the highest one, Claude 3 Opus, is not available on the free version. And so here's OpenAI making their most advanced model available on the free version. I think that was just a little bit of a flex. But yeah, I anticipate more stuff will come, and that will be exclusive to Plus subscribers in general. Okay. Nani says, please give us some math problems to know its reasoning. I am not really good at math. Well, it's, I mean, I'm average, but I wouldn't even really know what kind of a math problem to give it, because this is a channel mostly about writing. So we're going to just stick to writing things, but I appreciate the thought. When will we be able to use GPT-4o? Like I've already said, ChatGPT should have it rolled out in the next few days. I'm guessing that it will eventually become the default for that because it's cheaper. So for OpenAI, it makes sense for a cheaper model to be the one used. But you can access it right now, I think. I think most people should be able to access it inside of the playground. So platform.openai.com, set up your account there, and that's pay as you go. So heard GPT-4o will be limited for free users. You won't be able to send unlimited prompts with GPT-4o. That's correct. It will be limited. It's probably limited for paid people too, but at a significantly higher limit, so you probably won't run into the same barriers as often. Token window is only 4K. No, I think that's just the output. Because yeah, that's a good, I'm not entirely sure. This is probably mostly referring to the output because it was able to understand my really, really long prompts. But maximum tokens is different from the token context window that it has. And I haven't seen any announcement of what context window it has. My guess is it's not huge. Otherwise, they would have made a big deal about it. So it's probably no bigger than what GPT-4 Turbo had, would be my guess. Is the desktop app available yet on Mac? As far as I can tell, it's not available anywhere. Mac or PC or whatever operating system you use. I haven't been able to find it yet. I'm hopeful that it'll arrive soon, and maybe I'll do a whole video about that because I think there's potential there. I would definitely use a desktop app, especially if it could like integrate with my computer in a way. So all I could do is just say like, hey, ChatGPT, and it would pop up just like Siri or something. And that's the sort of thing that it could do if it was a native desktop app, which would be great. Because I want my Jarvis. Someone put that on a t-shirt. I want my Jarvis. When will it be available in app? I don't know. They're rolling it out. But it seems to be starting today that they're rolling out. So I would expect you could see it in a few days. How am I using it already? Here in the platform.openai.com, in the API, using the API directly. Okay. All right, so we got a couple of people confirmed that they're using it. Chris says context is 128K. Chris, let me know where you got that. I'm pretty sure that's what the context window was for GPT-4 Turbo. I should just pull up ChatGPT and see if anything's changed. Oh, yeah, here it is. This wasn't here the last time I checked. So we'll try it. Okay. So it's here, but there doesn't appear to be a way for me to speak to it. That's what I really want. But it is available here. It looks like you can switch between 4o and the earlier 4 and 3.5. Newest and most advanced model. Temporary chat. Okay. So I'm not seeing anything particularly new about this, but it is available here. So definitely check that out. Cool. So context length is in the docs. Oh, okay. Thank you, Chris. Great. So we got 128K. That's pretty good. Most people, I mean, it's not as much as the Claude 3 models, but most people aren't going to run into issues with 128K unless you're trying to put like a whole book, like not just any book, but a large book inside of it. Is it only for the paid version? No, I think the free version gets it as well, but it'll be limited, slower, not as much, not as much usage. I have not checked the iPhone. Let me check the, well, actually I deleted the iPhone app, so I might have to, whoop. Somebody asked earlier if I knew that Claude had an app. Yeah, that's why I deleted the ChatGPT app, but now I'm kind of regretting that decision. And this is probably going to have to make me look things up, do two-step authentication. Yep. So keep asking any questions you have. I'll get to those. If not, we'll go ahead and wrap this up a little early. Crow Guy says they're in the EU and they have it. That's great. Patrick Masters Production says desktop app and mobile app have the speaking options, not the browser. Okay, that's good to know. I'll definitely do a more polished video going over some of the new things, especially as I kind of figure out a place for it in my workflow. Like if I start using the desktop app for dictation, like that's going to be a big deal for me. Hello, Debbie. Just saw I went live. Sorry, I think we're wrapping it up here pretty soon. Um, and for those, I see a few people checking and saying that they don't have it. That's fine. As with anything, these things get rolled out, so it might depend on like what country you live in, or it's just not rolled out to you yet. So might also make a difference if you're paid or free. I would guess that they'd roll it out to the paid people first. Okay. For four. Okay, so I do have it in the app. Let's see. What should I test it with? Hey ChatGPT, make me a recipe for a medieval meal that someone in 5th century Britain would eat that doesn't contain any sugar. All right, it's thinking. It's definitely not in that near real time that we've seen before. But if you can see I've got it here, and then I hit go. Ooh, that's very fast. That's very fast. So it gave me something. And now if I try to read it off.
I just want to share how thrilled I am to work with you, and I can't wait to get started. So what's the game
plan? Oh wait, this isn't the thing. We'll just confirm that. Hello?
Hi there.
Oh, I think this might actually be it. Are you the new ChatGPT-4o?
Do you have any questions or need help with something specific?
I'm looking for a recipe for a medieval style recipe that doesn't have any sugar. And
are you looking for a specific type of medieval style dish, like a soup, stew, bread, or something else?
Soup is fine.
Great. Two combined ingredients. In a large pot, combine the barley or oats, leek, carrots, parsnip, turnip, cabbage, onion, and garlic. Add the salt, pepper, thyme, and bay leaf. Stir occasionally and add more water if necessary to keep the ingredients covered. Notes: variations. You can add other available vegetables such as peas or beans depending on what you have. Protein. For added protein.
Okay, actually, let's stop there and just tell me the first step.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need anything else, feel free to ask. Enjoy your cooking.
Let's just stop there and give me the first step.
Sure. The first step is to wash and chop all the vegetables. Rinse the barley or oats.
Okay, thank you.
Enjoy making your pottage.
Okay, I don't know if it was just the voice that I had there. But that sounded the guy the voice sounded very just like lackluster. Oh yes, I should make it sing. I'm pretty sure this is the new one because it was able to respond to me in real time. So hang on. Hey ChatGPT. Can you sing to me the Mary Had a Little Lamb, but in the style of H.P. Lovecraft.
And everywhere that Mary went, the shadows took their flight. It followed her to Innsmouth town, where whispers filled the air. And when she reached the ancient stones,
Try
strange
again,
echoes
but
heard
sing
there.
it this
There,
time.
a lamb that walked with cosmic dread through realms beyond our light.
Try again, but sing it this time.
All right, here we go. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was dark as night, and everywhere that Mary went.
Okay, I think this might actually be the old one, like people are saying, because it doesn't do a lot of the things that the demo did. But it's close. It's close. We'll see. It does say that it's like we're using GPT-4o in my app, like it says it right there. But that might just be for the generating the text. That might not include the feedback and everything. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the future. I'm sure these things will get rolled out further. A lot of things probably aren't there yet, especially because they even said they're waiting because a lot of this stuff is like still kind of dangerous. And yeah, so someone asked, I'm late, are we hyped? Kind of. I think it was a little lackluster compared to what people were expecting from this announcement. And there were some things that people were speculating on that just did not show up at all. For instance, there was talk of a kind of like a Google search competitor, and that didn't happen. So if you use like the AI inside of Google or Perplexity, if you've used Perplexity, where it's more primarily a search engine, that was the rumor, but that didn't happen at all. There was no GPT-5. A lot of the features that they announced were like, this is coming, but not actually available immediately. So yeah, a little underwhelming, I'd say, underhyped, but still cool. Like, I mean, any advancement in AI is exciting to me. And someone's asking how I have access to it. It's just slowly being rolled out, I'd say, inside of ChatGPT in the paid and the new versions. You can also access it inside of the playground here. Okay, so the objective observer says the documentation said the voice will be rolled out later. It's only text and images. That's good to know. That didn't seem great at the real-time response and everything that we were promised. So, all right, I think that's probably good as far as we can go so far. There's not much more testing that I have for it right now, but as always, we'll keep working on this in myself and in my community. We'll see what it's better at. But just as a bottom line, I think it is marginally better at writing than other things, which seems to fall in line with in their blog post. It looks like the improvements that they're showing here are just marginally better than what we've seen before. Not really amazing, but better. And so Ziploc asks if this is US only. I don't think so. I think most countries are getting this. A couple of people from the EU mentioned they already have it. So double check. If you don't have it yet, wait a few hours, try again. Wait a day or two, try again. And yeah, so a little bit overhyped, but still kind of cool. I'm really waiting for Jarvis to be here so I can just talk to Jarvis, especially like from right here in my office, where if we have a desktop app, being able to interact that way, it'd be really cool. So all right, that should be it for today with today's live stream. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you in the next episode.